Greetings of the day from Travel Heights magazine, a publication of RJ Associates Media. I'm Tulika Avasti from the editorial board of Travel Heights. So, as the world struggles with the coronavirus pandemic, the tourism industry is the one to bear the brunt. And it was the first to get affected and might be the last to recover. Nevertheless, the tourism stakeholders, along with the Ministry of Tourism, is doing its best to revive the tourism industry and mitigate the effects. So today we have with us the Additional Director General of Ministry of Tourism, Ms Rupinder Brar, who is going to throw some light on how the Ministry of Tourism is planning to revive the tourism industry once again. It is a pleasure to have you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tulika.
Ministry of Tourism has been doing the Dekho Apna Desh webinar series. So what has been the response of this webinar series? And do you think it will play a key role in attracting more tourists and increase the domestic tourism once the lockdown is lifted?
Yes, Tulika. In fact, when we started with the webinars on the 14th of April, that was the first one which we did, and we kick-started with Delhi. And after that, we've done 19 more, and we've traversed the length and the breadth of the country while doing those. And I think it's been a fantastic journey, not only for us from the ministry, but also from the kind of participation and voluntary participation that we are getting from everyone who wants to come up and showcase something from their regions, something from their experiences.
I guess the most difficult task for the industry will be to make people believe once again that it is safe to go out. And so is the ministry planning to do something to build that trust, that confidence once again?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the primary requirement in the period of while we are still impacted with COVID now and for times to come, to generate, not only generate the confidence, but to actually have the protocols in place. And so the ministry is very actively working to bring out guidelines and protocols for all the stakeholders, and that includes the hotels, the restaurants, the guides, the transport drivers, both of buses and cars, tour operators. So everybody will have a protocol to observe, and also a protocol for travelers, because I think as travelers, we are the most important stakeholders of maintaining those protocols. So all those will be finalized very soon. The discussions are on within the stakeholders and also are being sort of ratified and vetted by the state governments, because ultimately, as tourism, you understand, is something which is largely driven at the state government level. So it's important that all the stakeholders therefore are on board and are also supporting all the protocols. So hopefully very, very soon, the protocols should be in public domain.
So also recently, the MICE tourism was included in the Champion Sector and Services Scheme. So how will this benefit MICE tourism, and can we expect MICE tourism to kickstart once again soon?
It was there in the Champion Sector even earlier. It was identified as a key strength area that India should be working on. So it was always there. The difference is going to be that while at that point of time, the idea was to encourage a few countries, the countries that had not looked at India with as much interest, to encourage tour operators to bring larger groups from those countries. But now the thought is that we should expand it to many more countries so that there is more interest generated. However, when we talk of bringing MICE guests from overseas, then we need to understand that that would fit into the larger framework of how is inbound tourism going to be, because MICE would also be within the larger framework of inbound. So for now, perhaps the focus is going to be more on generating MICE demand around the domestic component of it. So that will be the first priority for the ministry and also for our tour operators, because not only for mice, I think that's a narrative which is coming out from all research, whether you look at UNWTO, WTTC, our own research, the feedback that we are getting from various quarters. What is really going to kickstart is the domestic demand. And so mice being a part of the overall demand would also get triggered more at the domestic level to begin with.
So is the ministry planning to provide any financial support to the tourism industry to help it come back and revive quickly?
See, the ministry directly does not have any schemes of the kind, but ministry has been in consultations with the Ministry of Finance because that's the ministry which actually creates the financial support packages. And for all sectors, it is important for each sector to go and flag your demands, and it is really for the Ministry of Finance to see that how it fits into the overall macro decision making at the governmental level. If we can see that all the demands that we have put forth, they would get incorporated in the more larger part of the financial support that is coming from the government, whether it is for the MSME sector, because 60 to 70% of the tourism sector is a part of the MSME. So whatever would come for MSME would also benefit the sector. TDS, let us say 25% of the TDS is not to be paid this year, then that again would benefit all the tax-paying entities of the sector. If we see at the collaterals being relaxed, etc. So all such relief measures that have come as part of the larger finance package would definitely benefit the entities of the tourism sector also.
So also we are very curious about the National Tourism Task Force that has been formulated. Can you enlighten us on what are its objectives and what all has been done so far in this?
The industry and the stakeholders have been meeting the Honorable Minister of Tourism and also all of us to bring out their demands and also their requests and all sorts of concerns. And so it was felt that it would be a good idea, because as we develop the way forward for the whole phase of revival, and not only revival, in fact, I will be telling you soon about a slightly different way that we are looking at it. That while right now we are in a lot of distress, but we have to look for an opportunity in this whole crisis also, because they always say, right, that some of the most brilliant inventions around the world in the past have come out of absolutely, when you're in doldrums, you tend to think out of the box, perhaps. Yes. So the task force, therefore, has also been made with the idea that we should hear out all our stakeholders for their brilliant ideas, because all these are people who've been a part of the tourism industry for very long time, and clearly they all are very creative and have a lot of experience behind them in being able to suggest on how we should weave the whole story of India together, both for the domestic tourists as well as for the inbound tourists coming from overseas. And in the latest, I think, address given by the Honorable Prime Minister on the whole thing about Atmanirbharta and how we can be self-reliant, it is so fitting into our industry of tourism also. So the idea behind the task force, therefore, will be to leverage on all the strengths of ourselves as a country to figure out where are the opportunities. So the idea of the task force will be, therefore, to bring together all these experts who are experts in the field of tourism and hospitality, and see that how we create it into a growth engine for times to come.
What will be the action plan for opening the destinations? Will it be in a phased manner according to the zones?
Opening of destinations will depend entirely on the call that a state government takes on the basis of the way that the pandemic is panning out in their areas. For example, if we are sitting in Delhi and if Delhi has a green zone, orange zone and a red zone policy, then it is really not for us to define anything. We have to go by the decision in this regard by the local state government health departments and their classification of the areas, and the movement of people also will therefore have to depend on the understanding that the state government has on these issues.
So, ma'am, the questions are over from my side. Would you like to add something?
What I would like to say is, and this is something I've said at a few platforms already, is that it's a tough period. It's a challenging period. But if we look at human history, it is not the first time that humanity is facing challenges. And in India, particularly, since we are reaching out to, I think, a large part of the audience should be India, right? The Indian spirit of resilience and our sheer ability to depend on the ability to survive even on less is something that's really useful in these times. And also our capacity to keep revisiting those nani dadi ke nuskhe, those are coming handy. Our way of life where pranayam is being, said that it helps breathing, keeps healthy, keeps immunity levels high. There's so many things put together are holding us together. And also, I think we have, as people, shown a lot of discipline in in respecting what COVID needed, and we should continue to do that. The humanity's ability to therefore rise above the challenges that it has faced in the past thousands of years and has emerged out of it. We are sure we shall emerge out of it really strong and healthy and happy. For tourism specifically, since again our focus is domestic tourism in times to come, I just keep reminding everybody that it is such an amazing country. It is a country which remains pretty unraveled by most of us. So in times to come, visit the beautiful parts of our incredible India. And my favorite tagline these days, of course, is "Dekhte rahiye apna sundar desh, dekhiye apna desh."